Hi everybody. So Nevalaga here, and I'm going to make a video on the Cisco iOS certificates that are expiring on December 31st. It's December 27th, so that's 4 days from now. And just going to go over the config of an old affected switch and one that has been fixed and show you the differences and show you what to do with it. First of all, on the severity of this probably is not a very big deal for the vast majority of people. Even if you're using SSH, which I am here. So exit out of here. If I'm SSH into this box, I am not using, because I'm using password authentication, I am not using certificate-based authentication. I'm not using the self-signed certificate for this. Now there is a service that does use the self-signed cert, and that is the HTTPS service. If you're using a web browser to manage or to manage or monitor an iOS or iOS XE device, that does use the cert, and that is an affected thing. So let me just go over it. So I got two switches here. This one here is still vulnerable. This is an old switch that is still vulnerable. This is a 2960 running 15.0. And here's a new one. This is a 9300 running 16.12. And if I look at the show runs on both of these, so here is my new certificate that I'm doing for my self-signed one, as opposed to show run on the old one. And this is how it will appear out of the box. Crypto, trust point, a self-signed cert, and then here is the actual cert, and here's the key data. And if I browse to this machine here, .181, which is this one right here, let me just hit that one more time. Let me refresh this. Go to certificate. You'll see that this is the iOS self-signed certificate ending in 68, this one here, which expires on Thursday, December 31st at 6 p.m. Central. Now, the reason this is a big deal is I'm going to replace this certificate on this device without upgrading code, and I'm going to roll the clock ahead to 2020 and try to do it, and you'll see it fails to do it. So that's why it's kind of a brief window. If this is something you care about and you want to get fixed, you need to either fix it in the next 4 days, or you need to roll the clock back and when you refix it next week or after next week. So if I go to this device here, and let's say I want to, so show clock, 2019, and so instead let's say clock set to, let's move it to 1700 on, let's move it 1 month ahead. Let's move it 1 year ahead. Let's see, 27 DEC 2020. Okay, so I'm changing out the clock. Show clock. It's thinking about that. Show clock. All right, there it's in 2020. Now I'm going to attempt to regenerate this certificate. What you're going to find is all of this data here is going to be replaced by the new certificate. So let's look at what the config looks like on this side here. So here we go. Crypto, self-signed, here, and here. So we're going to do that. So if I look over here, so let's create some new keys. So config t, CRY crypto, key generate, RSA, label, and these I'm going to call, let's see, my self-signed, SIGNED, CA, used for HTTPS, used for the HTTPS server, for HTTPS. How about that? And then put a modulus on there of 2048. All right, it's going to generate keys. Okay, and then do our crypto PKI commands. Crypto PKI, create the new trust point. Trust, crypto PKI, trust point. We're gonna call them the same thing here. So my self-signed CA, edit, copy that, and edit, paste that. Enrollment is self-signed. Subject name, organization is equal to, so I'm gonna go family. The common name, now if I was using a router common name here, so this is AS10, be looking like as10.agafamily.com. I don't have DNS for this, but that's just how it would be. And then RSA key pair, I'm going to call this again the same thing. My self-signed CA for HTTPS, edit, paste that. Okay, and then I can enroll it. Crypto PKI enroll. Let's look at it first, I guess. Do show run. Okay, so if I look here, I still have my self-signed cert. I have my original trust point. Here's my new trust point that I'm going to use, right? And now I'm going to enroll it. Enrolling it will also create the keys. So crypto PKI enroll, and then I call this the my self-signed CA for HTTPS. And and it's going to say, so this box already has the self-signed cert, so this new one is going to replace and delete the old one. Do I want to do that? Yes, I do. I don't need to include the router serial number, and sure, I'll use an IP address in here. In this case, I'm 192.168.1.181, and generate the self-signed router certificate. Yes, and we get a flat-out attempt to request a certificate failed, status failed. So this is because show clock. Not a very great message to tell you the date, but the reason is because the clock is now after December 31st, 2019, and I can't generate the new one. So I have to roll the clock back. So let's go clock, set it back to 2019. All right. And now I can go to config T again and go to enroll that certificate. Yes, so I want to create a new self-signed certificate, include a router serial number. Nah. No. Include an IP address, sure. And same thing, 181. Generate the self-signed certificate, yes. And now it says router successfully created. So this is the error that they're talking about, and this is what the urgency is. It's just simply because if you don't do it before the date, you'll have to roll back the dates on these devices to actually do it. So now, created, show the run on it. Notice my trust point before was gone. So if I look back here, I had, if I go way back up here, here's my crypto self-sign 1581, whatever. But now I don't have it anymore. I have this new one, my self-signed CA for HTTPS. And that's it. Now, I have not, now, so on the HTTPS server, so I also have to apply this to the HTTPS service. So, where is the, somewhere's IPHP secure server, there we go. IPHP server and IPHPS secure server, but it doesn't say what trust point the secure server is using. So we do config T, we do no IP HTTP secure server. So we're turning it off altogether. So that's this guy here. So now let me go from Google. Oops. So I'm just trying to get to a different tab. Google.com. Okay. And then from here, I'm just going to do to 192.168.1.181 as HTTPS. HTTPS : that. And it should say can't be reached. Yeah, because I don't have it turned on. So let's turn it on. But before I turn it on, let's associate the new key pair with this server. So IP, HTTP, secure, and secure trust point, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, secure trust point is going to be called, this nice little, what I keep calling it is my self-signed CA for HTTPS. Edit copy, edit paste that. And then now IP, HTTP, secure server. So now I'm turning the SSH back on. So now refresh this page here. And you see it says not private. I take a look at it. Let's look at the certificate. You know what? This is still expired. You know, this is the new one. This is the new one that we had just created called as10.ogfamily.com, which is show run. So it's this guy here that we put in with this right here, common name as10.ogfamily.com. But notice it still is expiring Tuesday, December 31st, 2019. Not really all that useful. Why is the reason for that? Well, if I do a show version, I'm still at 15.0. I have to recreate that certificate on a new version of iOS, something post 15.6, 15.603 M07, 15.703 M05, all these, or post to 16.9.1. Now, if you look, I'm in 15.0 and everything, all versions of 15.0 are affected. So great, so let's get a new version of code, huh? So here's software download site. Here's my 2960 switch. So look at here, iOS software. All I have available to me is 15.2 and 15.0. There isn't going to be one that I can get working on this because everything in 15.2, if I look at it, is affected, period. And if I do it, Cisco EOL 2960, what is this, an XR. Let's see when this guy went. End of sale for 3.5, end of sale for the software release. Well, let's try this one here. This is actually for the software. Oh, here, product migration, 15.2. That doesn't help. Oh, 15.2 is, I'm sure that's EOL2. Well, I just want to see the hardware end of life. Oh. Oh, here, 15.2. Here we go. End of life for 15.2. And this came out in 2016. So, and we're past the last day that Cisco Engineering released any final software maintenance releases or bug fixes was back in 2018. So I can't get, so the bottom line is I can't get this one upgraded with a new cert. I need new hardware, which is fine. It's a pretty old device. So just wanted to show you that. So yeah, I guess in summary, now did I show, I guess before I do a summary, just show run. Okay, yeah, we have the new certificate, we're using it and stuff like that, but it still will only expire in a few days. Oh, here's a fixed one, so why don't you do that? On my fixed one here, if I scroll to this one and I refresh it and I look at the certificate, you notice it still is self-signed, but the expiration is now December 31st, 2029. So you buy 10 years when you do this on a device that can work. And if I do a show version, this one is 16.12, which is not affected. So everything after 16.9.1 is okay if I regenerate the cert. So, but on an older device like this one here that can only go to 15.2, I'm going to have a invalid certificate, period, going forward. So So yeah, so hey, any questions or something, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, take care. Have a great 2020.